What's up, y'all? It's popping in. Steve about to react to this Playback man. This is how many passes does iShowSpeed get? In the thumbnail, he's talking to an Asian person, and it says Ching Chong. I don't know why he would do this, but sure, let's see what's going on. Let's watch.
Bro, come back. Why you got on Argentina, bro? Konnichiwa? No, Chinese. Konnichiwa, Argentina. Chinese. No, konnichiwa. Point.
So for those who don't know, yo, Speed is back in the mood for saying some crazy stuff. Some people saying it's racist. Let's hear him out for a second.
Around words. People are saying I'm being racist to an Asian guy. You know, and I just wanted to say some things. You know, I wasn't being racist to him. I promise you. You know, I seen him. I thought he was, you know, when I see, I thought he was Japanese, so I say konnichiwa. I watch a lot of anime. I said konnichiwa,
Chinese,
but I thought he was Chinese.
Mandarin.
You know,
if you don't
know,
shut your ass
a
up.
nickname that they call me in Chinese. I literally was just talking to a Chinese person earlier today at 433, and they said they love me, and I love Chinese people, so I try to say Zhong Kong, like Chong Kong, like it's a nickname that they call me in China. I promise you, you know, and if it came off as racist, I promise you.
Speed, shut your ass up.
You know, I got adrenaline.
That was
pushing.
terrible.
I'm making content, live streaming. I'm at the World Cup, watching Ronaldo play, adrenaline pushing. I seen him with a Argentina shirt. You know, I just wanted to say what's up to him. You know, I love other races. You know, I really did not come off as I didn't really mean to come off.
So all right. The reason why a lot of people upset at it is because how aggressively he said it.
But think about.
I ain't never seen Love with a Fresh Cut.
He's a known Ronaldo dick sucker. But he's a known Messi hater. Niggas wearing Argentina blue.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be like if you wore a LeBron jersey at a Raptors game. I'd be like, yeah, man, get that bullshit up out of here. I love LeBron James, but just not right now.
But what would you say to me?
I say, hey man, get the fuck back to your country, boy.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, no way. You just said that. That's crazy. And I'm supposed to see LeBron jersey. That's why I got that. Hey, I should not have worn a LeBron jersey. I should have known I was being told to get back in my country. You got every right to do that, man. I know the LeBron stuff going on.
Now, in sports environments, sometimes the fans get heated. They don't need to be that passionate. Or you think he just made that up? It's possible. You know what? You know what? I'm split on this. Can I share?
I'm split on it because he's 17. Nigga, he's a child. That's why.
That's not. We can't keep using that as an excuse, though. I mean, I guess hence their title. How many passes does Speed get? Because it's like he's not dumb, you know. Because I tried to give him a pass with that whole crypto scamming shit. But it's like at some point he needs to be held accountable. Like he's not a toddler. He knows right from wrong. So I don't think we can keep saying, oh, well, he is 17. He's 17. He's a teenager. It's like, at some point, he needs to take responsibility.
Situation is that a lot of times in America, niggas get offended on the behalf of other people before those people get offended.
Oh, for sure.
Do you remember a couple years ago in the NBA draft, there was an African guy with his family wearing their African attire. I forgot what country it was. It's probably West Africa. I don't know. All the NBA players from West Africa.
Okay.
And he happened to have a white girlfriend. The white girlfriend was with his African family, also wearing their attire. And Americans got upset at the girlfriend, like, that's cultural appropriation. I'm like, yo, she's that nigga's boyfriend. Or wife, I don't know. And I thought, like, yo, bro, y'all quick to get offended before he even gets offended. That guy definitely could have turned up on him if he was offended by what he's seen. But, like, the same way sometimes people assume on Somali, hopefully they don't try and, like, fucking do what the fuck Speed did. People sometimes might assume on Somali or, like, Kenyan or Tanzanian or just nearby countries, or Eritrean, but I'm Ethiopian. But it's difficult to tell the difference unless you're from the region or you're around people from that region a lot. So I grew up around an area that was majority Chinese. So when I see people that are Chinese, I'm like, this is obviously not a Japanese guy. And you could be wrong. It's just, you're guessing. They could be South Korean for all you fucking know. So Speed guessed wrong, and he was in the moment angry at a guy wearing a jersey. That's his ops, right?
Stop,
and so I just think I would probably be bothered by it if that nigga was bothered by it. But he was not bothered by it. So on a serious note, although sometimes it just can't be funny. they're right. If someone says something hateful to Asian people, not many people come in defense of them.
Okay.
If someone says something hateful to black people, a lot of people come in defense of them.
And some people say hateful things about Jewish people.
And
a lot of people. And you'll lose sponsorships. And you might get kicked out of the league.
The point is, they're right. Asian hate is more normalized and should definitely be taken more seriously. I just don't. The guy in the video himself didn't interpret.
Yeah, for sure. I get that.
It's possible he was just very nervous
Yeah.
and didn't want to say nothing. But like, assuming he didn't have a negative reaction to it, in fact, he tried to educate him. He's like, no, not even Japanese, Chinese. It's just proof that he was like, oh no, you just got it wrong, bro. I don't think he took offense to it.
Yeah.
Now, other people are taking offense to it. Maybe other Asian people in America or other places in the world are taking offense to it. And it's probably because, I don't know, it's a good question. I guess if you're offended by it, like, you should try and be sensitive to other people's...
Do you get offended by it? Do you get offended by it if somebody mischaracterized you because you're different parts of Africa?
Nah, there's plenty of people that say, like, wild shit about, like, you know, like me or any...
No, when somebody, like, say you're Nigerian, like, you get offended, like...
Nah, like, even sometimes, like, if I say A ever in a sentence, people go like, oh, yeah, he said A, the Canadian said A. But I don't say it that much. But every once in a while I say it, and they just assume that's part... Exactly, I never say it. But when I do, everyone makes sure to bring it up, because they just think that's such a Canadian thing. But I never really...
Offended?
No, I was like, nah, I don't know.
Answer his question about
maybe like
being called a Nigerian.
I'm not sure. But anyway, point is like,
why he burst that out? That was
a
weird.
lot of racism.
Though?
I experienced a lot of racism growing up from people that were genuinely mean-spirited, where they thought that I was dangerous or risky because of the color of my skin.
That's fair. I don't think he was
so when it's mean-spirited, like when I see you vacate the sidewalk and I'm just walking, and then when I leave the sidewalk, you come back, you think I'm a risk. Like, it is what it is. Yeah. I don't try and change those people's minds. They're strangers.
For sure.
But when it's mean-spirited, I'm slightly offended by it, but I just overlook it because there's no point of
me. And you don't think he was being mean-spirited?
No, you just
now let's see this next clip. You think he was mean-spirited? This one?
Maybe. I don't know. That first clip, that was one thing, but the second clip,
I don't agree.
We'll see.
See, no, he on some bullshit.
That's what I'm saying.
He doing too much.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Are you offended by it?
Mean-spirited or not, he's being ignorant, he's being racist. And if the roles were reversed and someone was doing this with someone black, people will be offended. So let's keep the same energy across the board so we won't have no issues. No, he's wrong. Period.
I'm not Indian, so I'm not.
So you're not offended?
I'm not offended by it. But I understand why people are like, come on, bro.
But they didn't look offended by it. Maybe they were, but they didn't look it.
So if a white person calls a black person a hard R, but that black person is offended,
it's not the same thing as someone reciting some Indian song.
If somebody was like, hey, get that watermelon fried chicken, boy. That watermelon good, ain't it, boy?
If it's mean-spirited, I'd be offended.
No, just mocking it, just like he's mocking it.
I'm not gonna lie, I have friends that are black. They be saying wild shit.
See, that tells it all. You put up with a lot of nonsense. Couldn't be me, brother. Couldn't be me. I wish I would have a white friend and they saying some disrespectful, like, racist shit to me. Like, that's so fucked up. You don't have to do that. Why do we have to disrespect each other's race in order to be friendly with each other? I don't get that.
You're like,
I don't. I'm trying to think of ways that me and my friends disrespect each other. That has nothing to do with race because all my friends are black, but we don't. So yeah, I don't understand the point in needing to like joke about disrespecting somebody's race.
Is it his friend?
Nah, but it's when you're with your friends.
But that's a friend. We random people.
Okay, stranger.
So if somebody came up to you, right, and you're as a fan, and like, oh, Asian, you're black, right? Like that watermelon, huh? Like that watermelon, you got sorry at Popeyes, they had all that chicken menu.
If honestly, I'd probably just ignore it and pretend it wasn't said.
But
because I know what they would probably be going for as a reaction.
Exactly,
I would probably be annoyed, but not offended.
But you understand why it would come across.
I do. I'm not saying I don't understand it.
I just
need one of these people to come out and be like, yeah, that shit was genuinely offensive. I'll be like, okay, all right.
Why?
What I'm saying is I think what many people are trying to do is they acknowledge that not only his influence, but also as you continue to grow older, like there's certain things that you should just pull aside and be like, hey, yo, let's chill out for a second. Because
I think
even as you get older, like,
that's the bigger thing to me. Speed's actual actions in a vacuum, in that specific instance or in the previous one.
Let's show them one more last one before we get to the
chose another one.
Hey, Muhammad. What's up, Muhammad? Abdul.
Yeah, he's...
Oh, surname is... Oh, India.
Aditi.
Aditi, Uncle Doopy Doopy Titi Da. Zoopy Doopy Gapapa Chapati.
Nah, this is wild.
He's
doing too much.
That's crazy.
Come on.
I don't think that
coming up to me as a black person, if I'm Korean, they're like, Kobe?
Marbury. Come on, like, what are we talking about, bro?
Yeah, like, the actual Muhammad part was whatever, because that is the most popular name on the planet. Honestly, I could
just ask him.
But everything past that, the ding, and that's like
even his name. Why are you assuming his name? Just ask, yo, what's your name?
Well, Speed's trying to do
he's like
defending him on this one. I think what he's trying to do is just be funny to his audience. The point I was gonna make previously was, in a vacuum, these instances are largely irrelevant. I think there's actual mean-spirited versions of hate genuinely could disadvantage people that are worth taking a look at. I think the bigger negative here is if his audience in mass begins treating other people of other cultures like this, then that's an actual problem. Because it's like, if you're anyone that's not the majority, you're just going to experience like weird stuff like this often. And that would make life a little bit more difficult to get. You make your day more difficult to get through.
For sure.
So that's what I would argue is the biggest negative here. I get doing shit for content. I'm a content creator. I know what people, and I know people who've crossed the line trying to get content. And you could argue this was either a gray area or he crossed the line on any one of these. And you could talk to the individual people or talk about the situation in a vacuum, but the real negative is just if his obviously young audience begins all doing this.
Yeah.
That would be annoying. To all those people, if it happens once in a while, I'm sure they won't mind. But on the fucking 10th time that day of a nigga making a fucking joke about a Bollywood song, you'd be like, alright, bro, shut the fuck up. So I think that's really the harm.
If an Asian person came over here and was like, just in Atlanta, you're like, Kobe? Oh, Jermaine? No? Tyrone? Tyrone, alright. You need to start beatboxing. Crazy, like the most black shit in the world. I'm like, alright, bro, you got it, bro. Here's a bunch of people also. I think that's the biggest problem is because
by far.
Have you seen like some of the clips of like these people who they actually follow him and they like approach him and be like, hey, yo, brother, you have a lot of influence, so you need to be teaching the word of God. Like they actually put their stuff on the speed and stuff like that, and he has to like turn that down. So he gets that all the time. I think a lot of people are more upset about the influence. I agree. Like you shouldn't be more offended than the actual people that you believe the offense was towards. I understand that, but I think the impact of him just doing this willy-nilly and almost normalizing that type of rhetoric and behavior, and knowing that there's a bunch of children that's watching his stuff and the most influential group of people on this platform, like there's definitely long-lasting effects that could occur, and people ignoring it is kind of OD. Also, the argument of him being young and a child, like he's 17, he knows what he's doing. Like he knows what he's doing. KSI also said the same thing. He was like, back when I was making those crazy, edgy jokes about, something heinous, he knew that they were crazy at the time, and he immediately regrets them. In a moment, it makes sense. Not immediately, not immediately, but later on in his life, he looked back and was like, I know I was doing wrong. I should not have done it. I regret it.
Here's the problem with that, though. And this is not in a defense to anyone that does things that are actually offensive to anybody. Mm-hmm. But y'all not seeing what's happening? The content creators are being incentivized to be more extreme. Like, think about the podcasts that are the most extreme. They're talked about. These types of moments, they're talked about. It keeps him relevant. It keeps people in the conversation to him. And as long as his fans don't give a fuck, it's just more people talking about him. And in the midst of all the people talking about him, a few people's going to find it funny enough to give him a chance. Boom, his audience grows. So KSI is a great example of a content creator who also blew up. And do you remember KSI's appeal?
No.
He was saying the most egregious, crazy. He was doing wild things. He would play a fucking saxophone and thrust his hips in public. He would do extreme things, and not all of them were offensive. Some of them probably were to some people, but some of them were just like, oh my god, he's so courageous to like. How did he have the boldness to do that?
He had a running joke where it was like, okay.
Yeah, he did the R-word face challenge. He did
that running joke was crazy.
He would go head to head with FIFA. He would say the most ruthless shit about EA we were all thinking, but everyone was too afraid to do.
For sure.
So there were the things about him that people enjoyed, that projected him, that gave him that explosion, were edgy in nature. So he could turn around and post and be like, damn, I regretted some of those moments or whatever, and we'll just take him by his word that he did. But they attribute it to his growth. Same thing applies to Speed. There's not many like calm people.
That was a while ago.
I get that. I get that. But do you think the same thing with Speed, though?
Changing.
Because you think Speed would just be like, he just do all this shit and kind of almost in the back of his mind just know 4 or 5 years later he can be like, yo, I was young, and just kind of play that card. Because people play that card really for him. Yo, let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Firstly, I do understand why people get offended for others. I feel like it comes down to empathy and morals. Racism is wrong across the board. You know, no matter who's being racist towards who, it doesn't have to be affecting your race specifically for you to get offended and be like, hey, what the fuck? Why would you say that? Or that's wrong. Don't do that. You know what I mean? I think that is important in our society. If everybody just minds their own business and being like, well, that's you. That's only affecting you. I'm not going to get offended if you ain't offended. All right, they just called you a nigga and slapped you. Hey, if you ain't got a problem with it, I'm cool too. Like, no. You know, we don't know why some people don't get offended for themselves. It could be due to low self-esteem. It could be due to them being afraid to speak up for themselves. There are many reasons why people won't visibly show that they're offended or speak on a certain issue. And I think it is, you know, okay for people to come to their defense and be offended for them and be like, hey, no, that's wrong. Don't do that. It's racist. So I feel like that's why people are upset and holding Speed accountable, as they should, because when these little white TikTokers be mocking black people and saying the N-word, we get upset with them and hold them accountable. So let's keep that same energy and let him know, no, this is wrong. Chill your ass out unless you want to be canceled. You doing too fucking much, period. That's what it comes down to. And it doesn't matter that he's 17 years old. He knows right from wrong. He knows what the fuck he's doing. And, oh, well, influencers are being pushed to be more outlandish and do over-the-top shit. Like, that's not an excuse. First off, Speed is already, like, hella popular. He got, what, 15, 20 million followers? Like, what the fuck? What more do you want, nigga? You don't need to keep doing this over-the-top crazy-ass shit. Like, you can chill out. But even if you do feel the need to keep, you know, doing things for shock value, you don't have to offend people in the process. Like, that is what makes a creator. You have to, you know, think of shit to do that can shock people or, you know, get them talking without putting other groups down. I don't feel like you need to put people down in order to do that. So, yeah, those are just my thoughts on the situation. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!